Welcome to this episode of Weirdos Like Me. I am your chief weirdo, Dr. Shannon. And today we're going to be talking about boundaries for introverts. This is honestly one of the hardest things for an introvert to execute. I personally am still working on improving my ability to set and to abide by boundaries every single day. First and foremost, I think it's important to know why you have to set boundaries in the first place, because setting boundaries is not fun. Okay. It's slightly painful. And if you don't know why it's important, you're not going to do it. And I feel like I did this for a very long time. I didn't realize why it was important, so I just avoided it. You only have so much energy each and every day to live your life and to carry out the tasks for what you both want to do and what you need to do. As an introvert, you 100% need alone time to recharge. You need to do something that fills your cup. Otherwise, your cup is going to dry up. Personally, I'm close to and I'm friends with a lot of doctors and a lot of students studying to be doctors. And our goal is to take care of others, right? How can we possibly give to others and help them heal if you have nothing left to give? This isn't just for healthcare workers either, right? This applies to pretty much everybody. Everybody works with other people, and your goal, I think, in a lot of careers, and whether you're a parent or a mom, dad, sister, brother, child, whatever, is to help take care of others. How can you help take care of them if you can't take care of yourself first, and you can't prioritize and create boundaries for your own health and healing? You need self-care for this. Now, when I'm talking about self-care, I don't mean that stereotypical hashtag self-care stuff you see on Instagram, taking a bubble bath and having a glass of wine. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. And actually, those seem pretty amazing right now. And that's like now on my to-do list, right? But what I mean with self-care is setting boundaries for things that don't align with you and saying no, having the ability to say no and to not feel guilty about it, because that is the hardest part for a lot of people, especially if you're introverted. In order to do this, you first have to know your limits. This is so incredibly important. And I think, honestly, this is where people mess up most of the time, is you don't know what you can handle. So I need you to think about how much can you handle per day, per week, per month before you experience what I call an introvert hangover. Yes, introvert hangovers are so a thing. If you know, you know. So think about it. Is it one big group social event a week? Can you handle 3 or 4 coffee dates with coworkers per week? Is it one big work conference a month? Whatever it is, figure out what you can handle before you start feeling your energy draining, and then schedule accordingly. Now, you may consider yourself a people pleaser. And if this is the case, someone may ask you to do something, and before your brain even processes what this thing means and what it's going to entail and what you have to do for it, your mouth is blurting out, yes, sure, I would absolutely love to. Let's do it. And then your brain catches up to what just flew out of your mouth. And you then spend every minute until that event occurs mentally kicking yourself in the butt for saying yes to something you clearly have no business saying yes to. You take this and you pair it with the fact that introverts tend to think before we speak. That causes extra anxiety, because then in that little bit of a gap of time when that person who just asked you a question is waiting for your response, you're sitting there going over how to say no without hurting their feelings, and the 30 different versions that this could be, and what are the different paths that this can lead to with this person in your relationship, and blah, 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 right? So this is a recipe for disaster if you don't know your boundaries and you don't have strategies already set to execute in this type of situation. What I want you to do is do a cost-benefit analysis of each situation before you just blurt out a yes, okay? I want you to ask yourself, will doing this bring more energy and joy into my life? Will it help move me towards my goals? And these goals can be life, family, or business related, right? I mean, I'm not just talking about, goals for work or business or entrepreneurship, although this does fit very well into that as well. And then here's another important one. Ask yourself, is this the best use of my time to move me towards that goal? Because here's what I mean by that. You may be able to say, yes, this thing will move me towards this certain goal. But if you have a better, more efficient, less energy draining way to do it than what that thing is, then you 100% can say no and do the other version instead and save yourself that energy, right? Does that make sense? So I think the biggest thing is when somebody asks you to do something, you need to buy some time so that you can really do this cost benefit analysis. And there are some things that you can do and some things that you can say to help buy yourself some time. For example, number one thing you can say, let me check my calendar and I'll get back to you. It's so simple, but it's huge. And when I started executing this, it helped so much because it doesn't tell the person, no right away. It lets them know that you are thinking about it. You're not just blurting out no because you don't want to do it. You need to see, can I actually fit this into my schedule and into my life? So do that, get yourself some time, figure out if it aligns with your values and figure out if you want to do it. Now, if you can't do that, but you do want to help contribute in some way, you can say, unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to do XYZ, but I can do this instead, if that would be of help to you, right? So if you can do a portion of it, or if you can do a different version of it and you want to offer that up, that's an awesome way to be able to set a boundary while still being able to help others. And then if you just know you can't do it, just say, unfortunately, I wish I could, but I've already got something scheduled. Thanks so much for thinking of me. This right here is huge, especially for introverts who don't want to hurt other people's feelings. Leading with unfortunately lets that person know up front that you're going to have to say no, but then you thank them at the end for including you. And this just kind of wraps it up in a way that you're not acting, ungrateful for being invited to whatever this thing is. You just can't. And even if it's something you want to be invited to later, you can always say, let me know next time. If it's not, don't say that, but either one will work, right? Now, if you have a hard time setting a boundary, especially with certain people, and if someone gives you a hard time or challenges you on this, let me say, first of all, you don't really owe anybody an explanation, right? A lot of introverts feel guilty if they don't explain why they're saying no. So you really don't owe an explanation, but if you do decide to explain, just know you're being extra nice, right? And you can. The level of explanation is totally up to you. You can give details if you want, or you can just leave it pretty generic. So easier said than done, right? I fully know. So an example of keeping it kind of generic, you can say things like, unfortunately, I'd rather not go into the details. And most people are going to get that. And they're just going to be like, okay, they don't want to get into the nitty gritty. I'm just going to leave them alone on there. If you want to be honest about your energy levels, you can say something like, honestly, I'm a little bit drained and tired right now, and I need to take some time to sort things out, to figure things out. Again, most people will understand this. Even extroverts get their energy drained by things. They need time to recharge too. The difference is extroverts can go out into a big social situation and get that recharging. As an introvert, that is your drain. So you can't do that. You have to actually schedule specific time away from others in order to do that. So it's a little bit more of a juggling act because you can't just get back out there and get instantly recharged. So just be honest and let them know. And if people still push and want to know why you're saying no to things, that may call for a reevaluation of the entire relationship. Because again, boundaries are healthy. And if you have people that are close to you that are really friends or family, they should understand that. They should want what's best for you. They should want you to be both physically and mentally healthy. And they should allow you to be authentically you in that, whatever that means. If you need to take a week off of a social event, you can do it. Now, if we're talking about boundaries for work-related things, try your best to create to a specific work schedule and stick to it. So, for example, let people know when you are available to answer calls and emails. This kind of passively lets them know that there are times that you are not available. Okay, so say, all right, I can answer all phone calls related to this topic from 8 to 10 a.m. And, after that, people will know, okay, if it's during the day, they probably won't get to it until tomorrow morning. So this is a nice way of kind of putting things in little containers for people. This will also help you avoid feeling guilty if you're not answering calls or emails about things at all hours of the day and night, especially if you're an entrepreneur. This is very, very important because there's a saying that work never sleeps. Is that a saying? Did I make that up? I don't know. I think it's a saying. And, really it doesn't. If you're an entrepreneur, if you're a business owner, things happen all the time. I mean, I was co-owner of a coffee shop that was open from 6:30 in the morning until midnight every single day. There were things that happened at like 1 a.m. as the shop was getting closed down that you had to attend to. So things you have to attend to are one thing, things that you can push off are another. So try to compartmentalize that and keep healthy boundaries, right? Remember to schedule yourself downtime. Your worth is not tied to your productivity. Let me repeat that. Your worth is not tied to your productivity. That is kind of anti everything that we talk about in today's society. And I have to remind myself of this all the time because I feel like personally, I tie my worth to my productivity and I have to remind myself, nope, there's more to you than just the stuff that you produce and the stuff that you do, right? There's more to you than that. Prioritize your essentials and say no to things that don't align with you and that don't move you towards your goals. Again, whether those goals are related to life, to your family, to your business, make sure you're doing what moves you towards what you want. So, what are some boundaries that you are going to set going forward so that you have time to refill your cup? I want to know. Let me know. Thanks for hanging with me, and I will see you on the next episode of Weirdos Like Me. See you then.